Next are two keypads that are typically used together to input information on the HAAS machine. The alpha and numeric keypads are located in the lower right corner of the control pendant. But before we look at the keypads, we'll start by looking at the input bar, which is where the data you type will appear on your screen. Your screen is laid out in sections, and the information in each section will change depending on the operation mode and display entries. Going through all these sections is beyond the scope of learning for this presentation, but when you type data into the machine using the alpha and numeric keypad, it will appear on the input bar, which is the lower left corner of the display. You can edit individual letters on this input line before you enter it into a program, variable, or offset using the alpha numeric keypad controls. The numeric keypad has digits 0 through 9, a minus sign, and a decimal place. Additional symbols, rarely used by students, are in yellow and accessed by pressing the Shift key with the corresponding number key. Cancel is a unique operation for most students. It is effectively the way to backspace or delete entries that you've placed on the input bar. Space will insert a space in your text on the input bar, and pressing Enter will take the input bar text and numbers and place it at the active location for the cursor while in edit mode, but behaves differently in other screens, which we'll learn about later in a future lesson. But Enter effectively enters your text or numbers from the input bar to the active cursor position. The alpha keypad has letters A through Z, an end of block semicolon, comment parentheses, and a shift button. The shift button can access / and brackets as well as the yellow symbols located on the numeric keypad. Our machines are set up to emit a beep at every push of a button. While it may seem annoying at first, this is an excellent way for you to be certain the key you have pressed was received, particularly if you're manually entering commands on the keypad. Next, we'll look at the keys that are used to manually alter the execution speed of your programs. These are called override keys. The override keypad is located in the lower left corner of the keyboard and is frequently used when proving out or optimizing a program. The override keys are used for setup and while the program is operating to alter speeds, feeds, and rapid motion rates. The overrides are generally grouped by operation for the feed, spindle motion, rapid motion rate, as well as allowing manual spindle control for forward, stop, and reverse. We'll talk about each of these one at a time. The feed rate key overrides the rate of tool motion, either up or down from the program speed based on the operator input. You can incrementally select 10% increases or decreases in rate or use the handle feed, which will let you use the jog wheel handle to vary feed rates. Moving down a row is the spindle override key row. Spindle override speeds up or down the spindle RPM. You can incrementally select 10% increase or decrease in the programmed rate or use the handle feed, which will let you use the jog handle to vary the feed rates. These operate exactly like the feed rate overrides, except you're increasing or decreasing the spindle rotation speed. Next is a set of keys to manually start and stop the spindle. These keys will turn the spindle on to the last programmed speed when you press forward or reverse, and stop it when you press stop. If no prior spindle speed is stored in memory, you must command a speed by entering a number on the keypad and then entering forward or reverse. These buttons only work when the machine is not in operation, or it is at a single block stop. These keys are ignored when running a program, and if you stop the spindle during a program pause, such as at a single block, the spindle will automatically restart when you command the next action with the cycle start button. Beneath the spindle controls are the rapid override rates, which allow the operator to slow the machine rapid motion down to 5%, 25%, 50%, or 100% of the machine's maximum motion rate. Rapid overrides are useful for moving out programs and giving you time to see what is happening in the rapid motion while you're learning to operate a CNC machine. We always prove out programs running at 5% rapid to allow enough time to react to a program error. In production settings, 100% rapid is used to limit the amount of time the machine is cutting air. But with a motion rate of 1,200 inches per minute for our VF2 mill, it's very difficult for you to predict the rapid motion when you're first learning to run the machine. That's the reason we use a 5% rapid override for program prove-out. Next are the jog keys. And the jog keys are used to manually move a machine axis in conjunction with handle jog operation mode, and as well as to turn on and off the chip conveyors or aim coolant nozzles on the mill and move tailstocks on a lathe. Because this keypad is laid out differently on the lathe than on the mill, we'll discuss the operation separately, beginning with the mill jog keypad. The jog keys can provide control the manual motion for the jog direction in X, Y, and Z axes movement. To move the machine axis manually, we recommend that you select handle jog, then set the motion increment, and then select the direction using the handle jog wheel. Remember, the jog motion is relative to the tool location, so positive movement in X, Y, and Z will make the mill bed move to your left, towards you, and the spindle move up. These arrows show which way the mill, bed, or spindle will move relative to the operator position for a plus or minus direction. They also act if you hold the button, that's the direction the axes will move, but they have no effect when you're selecting the jog wheel, which means if I select X, it does not matter whether I select plus X or minus X. When I use the jog wheel, it matters which direction I turn the jog wheel, either positive or negative. The active axis is indicated on the display. This may prevent you from inadvertently moving the axis into a fixture or part. Always proceed with caution when jogging. On the lathe, the positions are aligned to the operator, with the Z-axis moving left and right, and the X-axis moving away and towards you. Remember that the movement direction is relative to the tool position, so positive movement in Z and X will cause the turret to move right and away from you. That's shown by the arrows on the positive X and positive Z keys. Again, the direction has no bearing on which way the turret will move when you're using the handle jog wheel. Instead, only the direction of rotation of the handle jog wheel controls which way the turret will move. The active direction is again indicated on the display. This may prevent you from inadvertently moving an axis into a fixture or part. Now, depressing any direction and holding the key will make that axis move. If you'd like to do the same motion without holding the key, then you'd select the jog lock in the middle of the keypad. This will cause the machine to move continuously in the direction commanded by a key press. You can stop the motion of a jog lock either by pressing that same key again or by pressing the jog lock to unlock your jog. Most students don't use the keypad to move the machine axis, but prefer the tactile feel of the jog wheel. Jog keys also provide control of the chip auger system and are laid out differently on the mill and lathe, though the operation is essentially the same. Forward for both systems will remove chips, and reverse is used only if there's an obstruction or problem on the chip conveyor system. Only our mill has a programmable nozzle. On the lathe, these keys will control a tailstock movement, which is not available on our ST10 lathe, so they're not used. The coolant up and coolant down keys will move the programmable coolant nozzle up or down one increment.